Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Bowman, and I'd like to welcome you to the SGN Connecticut edition. Now, this is the second episode that we are doing in this series, and that's only because I've gotten about 600 views on the first one. So, unlike John Krasinski, who's had millions and millions of views, I'll take my 600 and share with you some of the national things that are going on for good news and locally here in Connecticut. And the first story we're going to talk about is right up here. This is a Rottweiler named Loki. Now, Loki has a handler, or an owner, I should say. Handlers from, when I worked the dog in the canine unit. I don't know why I just called her a handler, because she's really not. It's the owner. And the owner's name is Carolyn Benzel, and she is actually over at the Maryland School of Medicine in Baltimore and has been able to put together these hero healing kits, because if anybody knows what it's like to wear rubber latex gloves on a daily basis for an extended amount of time, along with all the other equipment that these doctors and nurses have to wear, your hands look like they've been in the bathtub for about 40 days. They get all pruned up and they start to get just nasty. Your lips get chapped. And so what Caroline has done is, using the social media following that Loki has been able to raise over 1,400 of these I want to make sure I get it right, hero healing kits to be able to give out to these doctors and nurses and everybody else that works in the hospital. And they consist of hydrating skin lotion, a box of tea, baby powder, chapstick, chewing gum, and moisturizer for healthcare workers. Now, a lot of you may not know this, but I actually did 20 years in the Air Force, and there was nothing better than being deployed overseas in a war zone to get a box home of necessities that we couldn't get there, whether it was baby wipes or baby powder. So hats off to you, Caroline. This is awesome. I'm super stoked. We're definitely following you and Loki on your social media. And because I only have one camera, I need to make it look like I have two. But the next story is coming from a town in Connecticut, and that is South Windsor High School. Now, the South Windsor graduating class of 2020 had decided they weren't going to let this pandemic ruin their graduation. And in doing so, they ended up putting together a YouTube video, which I'm going to link right here if you'd like to check it out. And basically it talks about how they're going to rise up and beat this pandemic and not let it drag them down, even though a lot of high schoolers that are graduating and going into college or into the workforce or into the service in the military are really missing out on prom. So yeah, check out their video. It's right up there again. Make sure you check it out and support them. And maybe we'll do a prom night here from Connecticut. Prom night Zoom from Connecticut. That could be the next video. We'll see what we can put together. Now, on more local news, going up to the UConn area in Stores, we had a college student there that left and went to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I only have to look at this because I don't watch a lot of sports. Anyways, Andre Durham was a UConn student, went to the Cavaliers, and has recently donated $100,000 to the Middlesex Health Emergency Response Fund, which has basically been set up to deal with the pandemic that we are dealing with, this COVID-19 or coronavirus. So hats off to you, man. It's great to see somebody that has come from the state, that has gotten to that elite level, that doesn't forget where they came from and comes back here to help out the local area. And just a side note on that, Andre and his mom are from the Middlesex area, so I can see why he wants to help him out. That's his roots. That's where he grew up. And I think that's really cool. I really do. That's great that you can come out and help people like that. So thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. All right, now we're gonna get on to some more UConn news. So everybody in the audience, just raise your hand if you went to UConn. I did not, but I did do a lot of partying up there back in the day. But again, UConn is stepping up to help with the ventilator problem that could be hitting Connecticut as we see more cases. Now, I don't even know what this team is, but it is from the UConn Center for Applied Separations Technology Lab. I don't even know what that is, but what they're doing is they're taking the generic design for these ventilators that was done in Spain, and they're reconfiguring them so we can use them here in Connecticut and Connecticut hospitals. So that's awesome. If we're gonna end up having a shortage, hopefully this team can put this stuff together to where we're not. And you know, those ventilators are really, really, not to sound too much from New England, wicked important that we have those so we can help people, you know, fight through this pandemic. All right, now the last story of the evening hits pretty close to home for me because that has to do with Andy. Now, Andy turned 10 today, and Alyssa and I had a small family party. We did practice our social distancing, in case you're wondering, but at the same time, it's really hard to explain to a 10-year-old why they can't have their friends over for a birthday party. But fear not, because Andy's Girl Scout troop stepped up to the plate and hit it out of the park. They actually put together a birthday parade for her, and you know what? I'm gonna talk to Phil right now and see if he can run that video. Hey Phil, can you run that video? Well, sure, Aaron. Actually, there is no Phil. This is a one-man show, and let's check out that footage. Now, that was really sweet that all these girls got together with their parents, got in their cars, drove by our house, honked their horns, had signs for her and everything else. And I think everybody in every community should be doing that. And tomorrow morning, we actually have a school parade going on here. So all the teachers from Lake Street School will be driving around all the different neighborhoods to wave to all their kids, which I think is really great. I know we've seen this in other videos across the internet, but to have it finally come locally here to us at home was pretty cool. So listen, you may not be able to see your friends, you may not be able to hang out, but hey, maybe you can do a Zoom meeting and have some beers with your buddies, or maybe you can put the kids in the car and drive by and honk at the local kid who is having a birthday party just like Andy. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching SGN, the Connecticut edition, and until we get shut down for stealing intellectual property, we'll see you on the next episode.